Hello and welcome to another edition of Black Matt's Black Legion blog. Guys, here I am at work and I'm getting ready to do an impromptu tactica based on a post that someone made to one of my videos the other night, and he was telling me how much better demon princes were than the sorcerers and the rhinos. So I'm going to lay a couple of instances and play out a couple of situations where I think that the gentleman is wrong, and I think that sorcerers and rhinos are 10 times better. What I have to do is I have to do some proxying, and I've got some dreadnoughts. They are about roughly the same size as a demon prince or a monstrous creature, and so I'm going to substitute these guys, and I need that for some very specific reasons. So want to come? Alright guys, here we are. I've got a little mock battlefield set up just so I can show you why I believe that the sorcerers and rhinos are better than the demon prince. One of the virtues of the demon prince is that it can move fast. You know, it can move 12 inches and still use its power. The rhinos, you can do 12 inches, get out, and then still use the power, so you effectively have more range, but you're going to expose yourself by jumping out of the bunker. But if you want to shoot out of the back of a rhino, you can only move 6 inches and then fire out the top, so you effectively only have a 30-inch range compared to a 12-inch and a 36-inch range, so it's a little shorter. Other than that, the demon princes are by far better in close combat. The sorcerers are the Chaos HQ, so there are no chump choices there. Force weapon can be really nice, definitely in certain circumstances, but demon princes are a little more meat. But by far the better choice is the sorcerer and rhino. First off, before I get started in explaining or physically showing why, I want to read out of the Chaos Codex, page 88, the description for Lash of Submission. A psyker may use his psychic power in the shooting phase instead of using another ranged weapon. Pick any non-vehicle enemy unit visible to the psyker and within 24 inches, and then take a psychic test in order to use the power. If the test is successful, the target is moved 2d6 by the Chaos player. This move is not slowed by difficult terrain, but dangerous terrain tests are taken as normal. Victims may not be moved off the table into impassable terrain or within 1 inch of enemy models. After this, the affected unit must take a pinning test. So, quite a few things to be said about that. How you make the sorcerer in the rhino work is that it's an open hatch. It's got a firing point. It's a ranged shooting attack that the Lash of Submission is. So you get to move your thing, then jump up out of the top and fire. Now, while you can't actually physically be seen, this is one of the great things about this. It's basically an invisible lash. And the way I have this set up here, and another reason that I think that the sorcerer is so much better, is that it's difficult to hide the Chaos Princes. I've got a couple of dreadnoughts over there playing as proxy demon princes because I need a monstrous creature. But you can see the only thing that you need to make Lash work is to see a leg of one member of a squad, and then they're all affected. So as you can see, it's always a lot easier to hide a sorcerer in a rhino, obviously, because he's not a physical model on the board, than it is to hide a demon prince. Regardless of the crazy conversions, if you got to hunker down and stuff like that, it can happen. But you don't need to hide, and you don't need to run around behind terrain if you use a sorcerer and a rhino. Move up, lash. Move up, lash. Another thing I wanted to point out. Excuse me. Another thing I wanted to point out was the one thing that you have to do in order to get at the sorcerer. It's a lot. Demon princes have Eternal Warrior, which means they're much more difficult to kill, even though you can do it with a Devastator squad or a squad of Obliterators. You know, just blast them. Or a couple squads of Obliterators. You don't need that. You can instant kill a sorcerer, and that's his one vulnerability. First off, the thing you have to do is get him out of the rhino. So if, let's say you shoot and you destroy my rhino, bam, everybody has to get out, so they're all piled around, let's say right here. How I play is I always play in groups. It's rare that I have a lone the Rhino out by itself. And so if this gets destroyed and he gets out, so he's standing right there, you know, amongst the squad. There isn't. I always play less than full capacity in my Rhinos. So the only thing I do, get out, boom, get in another one. Now this is his mobile base. You know, it works extremely well. And if there's another Chaos Sorcerer in there, that's no problem. He can still get in there and use Lash. It's not. There's no real restrictions. That in general is why I do know for a fact that Chaos Sorcerers are better than the Demon Prince. Just the flexibility in the game is what makes them so strong.